Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I'm going to talk about how I became so successful talking to women, how I became so successful getting women. And it's actually not what you think. It's not the jock story that everybody talks about, or I just woke up big, strong, and handsome with a nice smile. No, that's absolutely not what it is. To be honest, it was a lot of adversity. To be honest, it's a lot of the stuff that a lot of you don't really want to do. And it all came from just trial and error. So let me actually really break it down for you. I think the first big chain of events for me was back in the day, because we some old people now. Back in the day, I was like, I don't know, like 12, maybe 13. And I had this girl on MySpace or Facebook that I really liked. My older cousin, he was like 16, 17. He hopped on my chat. I was talking to this girl. So she had already liked me, was already feeling my vibe. I was talking to this girl and he wrote her some, "Hey, beautiful, you're like the butterfly effect to my life. You brighten it up and you make rainbows fall down on me like hush puppy." I was like, yo, what the is going on right now? And it just sounded like the most romantic thing in the world that has never been said and didn't make sense, straight out of a movie. Like, you must not know what you're doing. But she was eating it up. And then when I started talking to her again, she was like, "You don't sound like how you sounded when you was talking to me earlier." And I was just like, man, was you really liking that? Was you really eating that up? Like, oh my goodness, it sounded so whack to me. But you know what my cousin said, the same one who had wrote that? This is what really stuck with me. It's not all that other stuff that he did, but this is what stuck with me. When he said, "Hey, don't even think about what you say to a girl. Just say it." And that really stuck with me. He might not even know that to this day, but I used to like really scratch my head. What am I gonna say to this girl? What am I going to talk about? What are we going to do? Really thinking about what word. "Hey, beautiful" was not enough. I had to do way more than that. But as soon as he said that, you know what? I said, you know what? I'm going to stop thinking about it. I'm just going to write. I'm just going to talk, say whatever's on my mind. And that's what I did. Now let's fast forward. That's the first change, is when I stopped thinking about what I'm going to say to a girl. The second change was, all right, I was always a bad kid. Girls was always all around me because the guys were always scared of me, and so they always wanted to be my friend. That was not the life that I wanted to live, and that's not something that I'm proud of. But growing up, that's who I was. And so I really made an effort to change that when I got to high school and I was playing sports. I wanted to be known as someone who was approachable, fun to be around. It really touched my heart when one day I actually did get into a fight. It was my sophomore year. I had actually sent somebody to the emergency room on life support. Luckily, this was a football player who was taller than me, bigger than me, older than me, who ended up going to the emergency room. So I didn't feel like a bully, and nobody thought I was a bully because he was bullying others. So he thought that he could bully me, and he got the wrong end of the stick. What really touched my heart was when a girl came up to me in front of a whole bunch of other people, and she said, "Hey, Festus would never harm me. Festus would never put his hands on me. I ain't scared of Festus." You know, some people might take that as an insult. "Oh, you're not scared of me?" To me, that was very touching and very heartwarming, because my whole life people have been scared of me. And so to finally not have that effect on people felt real good. To be approachable, to not feel like you're a menace to society, to not feel like people are just around you to be around you, felt real good. If you don't want to talk to me, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. I think that's the worst thing in the world. The worst thing in the world is people talking to you because they have to, not because they want to. And so, you don't ever want to be that person who has to be talked to. You want to be talked to. And so that's where I'm at in life. So that was number 2 for me, was to really find who I was as a person, and then go into that fully. A lot of people don't really know who they are. You think you have real friends, and then you realize they're only with you for X, Y, and Z. For me, it was fear. I had brought fear into their lives, and so they were around me growing up. They weren't around me for money because I didn't have any of that. And they weren't around me because I was the most good looking back then. I mean, we were all ugly. We were young, right? So they were around me for protection. I used to get paid to walk people to the corner store. I mean, it's New York, you know, it's like that. So, you know, I mean, it is what it is. But again, not super proud of that. And so I was super, super happy being a sophomore in college, talking to women, being charismatic, understanding that they are not with me for money because I don't have that. They're not with me for my future because they don't know what that is. I'm a football player. I'm trying to go to college for free so that my mom doesn't have to pay for my life. And, you know, I obviously had a nice body because I was always working out. And I always wore sweats because it was just comfortable. And so when I talked to a girl, they already knew what outfit I was wearing tomorrow, but they liked me. Why? Because I was big, strong, confident. And I think a lot of people lacked that. A lot of people lacked that. And so when I'm physically big, physically strong, physically confident, they spot me from a mile away in train stations, everywhere I go. I started to notice, wow, this kid looks like a man. You know, he looks grown. He looks nice. And so I realized that physical appearance, physical attraction was very, very strong. And I had a lot of physical attraction. And I was really just drawing women towards me. You would see how they looked at me. You would see how they would approach me. You would see how they talked to me. And so I started to realize that sometimes I would lose a woman by how I talked. Maybe I talked too much. Other women, it didn't matter how much I talked. They were just that attracted to me, so it really didn't matter. And, you know, I started by my sophomore year. I had girlfriends. I had whatever I wanted. Plenty of women. I had friend groups that all wanted me. I mean, it was ridiculous. Every girl that I would talk to would make up rumors that they were pregnant by me. I'd never touched you a day in my life. It was insane. By my junior year, I had twins that really wanted me. I was like, what is going on? You're twins, you're sisters. You know, but this is New York. It's crazy out here. It's ridiculous. And so I was still a puppy. I was still a babe. And so I'm still learning, but I'm still talking. There wasn't a lot of trial and error because there was a lot of a confined space. So I didn't have to walk up to girls. They got to see me. They got to look at the competition, and they got to say, oh, this guy is just head and leaps above. So just by knowing me, they already knew I was above. So there was really no competition at that point. But when you go outside and when you try to talk to girls, the girls who would try to play hard to get, like, oh, don't approach me like that, approach me better, you know, all that type of stuff, I wasn't with it. I was like, shorty, you might think you being flirtatious, but don't tell me how to talk, don't tell me how to do what I do. That confidence, oh yeah, it was ultra confident. And so now, instead of being called confident, I was being called conceited, I was being called cocky. Never called a jerk though, which I think is a compliment. And so you have to also understand your balance. For me, I was okay being called conceited. I was okay being called cocky because just like a guy who is talking to a girl, you get measured on your game. You get measured on how you approach people. So guess what? I'm going to measure you on when I approach you, how you counter back, how you interact. If you're trying to play hard to get, and I'm not feeling it, baby, you can beat it like Michael Jackson, you feel me? So, I mean, I'm on a different wavelength. Don't play that with me. There's 100 of you and only one of this guy right here. You understand me? So, I mean, it was too good. And so I'm feeling it now. I mean, it was so easy to get a girl's number, but here's the hard thing is to get them to call you back, right? So maybe I get 10 numbers in a day. 2 or 3 girls would call me back. And so by the end of the week, probably have like 10 girls in my phone that are actively texting me, but not one of them am I really taking too serious. I'm asking for a picture from every single one of them so I don't forget who they are. um, and at this point, I did the same thing in college. I did the same thing when I went to Ohio. I did the same thing damn near everywhere I went. And so at some point, girls are like, oh, he has too many options. He is around too many women. But you still have the women who are super uberly attracted to you, and you don't know what for. I remember when I was in college, there was one girl who would drive me to school every single day. I never needed the ride too because she would make me late. I had to wait for her. I could have took the bus and I would have been early, but you got to be grateful when people want to do things for you like that because they want to spend time with you. So I ate the bullet. I was late a few times, but why was she with me? Because I was a biologist? Because she knew that I would potentially go to medical school? That's likely because she had a car payment. She ended up dropping out. So there's always different motives that people have. Some women are just in college to find a man. And I don't see anything wrong with that. But you should at least try and get the degree. Don't just drop out if you don't find what you're looking for. That's kind of weird. Like, like if it was a guy who literally just went to school to find a woman, we would be looked at as weird. We would be looked at as like, yo, what are you doing for real? Like, study, But if a girl goes to school looking for a man, that's not considered weird. Like, find him in the process of getting your education at the very least, And I was stepping into a new world because, again, coming from nothing, a guy who never really had nothing. I had a girl once tell me, I asked her, what do you plan to be when you grow up? While in college, sitting in the dining room. She said she wants to be a housewife. I'm like, Shraggy? What are you doing here? Like, you're in college. What are you doing here if you want to be a housewife? It's not calculating. It's not adding up. And so I'm like, are you trying to give me student loans? Like, I'm not, I'm really not calculating this. It's not making sense. So, I mean, she was not somebody I would have took seriously anyway, just based on the look, stature, and everything else. But that was eye-opening. That was awakening. Now, is anything wrong with being a housewife? Absolutely not. And you know why it's not? Because I got money now. But before, I was like, yo, this is not mathing. Like, how am I going to, live a life like that with a person like that? And so, to me, that just didn't correlate. It didn't make any sense. But now, I mean, I'm okay with hearing that type of stuff. A lot of these girls who make $100,000 a year that I talk to, $80,000 a year, they still don't want no bills. They still don't want to pay for nothing. They still rather just lay up in the house, chill, get some what, and then go ahead and drink and party with some friends. They just want you to lay it down, drink, and they want to go out and party with some friends. That's all they want to do. So trust me, if you can provide that, they would let go of that 9-figure, 5-figure, 6-figure salary just to do just that. And, so please, fellas, for no reason, don't ever think that because your girl is making $200,000 a year that she don't want to be at home. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. All right. So what did I learn? One, I learned that people now want something from me outside of my physical attraction. As you move up in life, you move into a different environment. People are going to want different things. Before, when you was in high school, it was play. You didn't have to have a lot of money. There's some high schools you go to where they expect you to have some money, right? Depends on where you are. Depends on the areas. Depends on the neighborhood. But before, I had to learn, say what you want to say. Don't care about it. You look good, you're going to attract some women. And that still helped me in college. But now some women have ulterior motives. You have to be hood smart and just smart enough to know what is it that they're looking for. Everybody wants something. That's okay, right? You might want some box. You might want a healthy relationship. But what do they want in exchange for that? It's a transaction. Yes, it's a transaction. So figure it out. And if it's compatible, if you're okay with it, then cool. Then the next thing that I learned was, don't be for everybody. It's not a good look. Whether you're a woman, whether you're a man. Um, what did Kendrick Lamar say? This thing ain't free. And it's really not. Like, my thing ain't for everybody. I feel horrible sometimes when I give it up to some random. Like, shorty, you don't deserve this. You don't. You don't. Imagine me slipping up in something when I don't got no children, when I got everything to lose, when I could literally change your life. I don't even want to tell you what I make monthly with all my investments. Let's not talk about it. So, like, yeah, it's like that. That is a tough pill to swallow. Like, it could really be devastating for me to have a bad woman beside me. It really can. Because now that my life is really changed, things really can change. So when I moved to Ohio, if you watch my Miami video that I just posted, when I moved to Ohio, I had a luxury apartment, 2 bedroom, 1 big bath. And, I was working very, very hard as an area manager for Amazon. I didn't really have time for a lot of women, to be honest. I just had this one chick that I met on IG, and I would see her all the time. Well, she would see me all the time. And, she wasn't really doing much. So she would just go home, chill, hang out with her grandma. And then she would come back over and see me damn near all the time. And she was just crazy. She wanted to be a stripper. She wanted to do a whole bunch of other stuff. And you know me, I don't go to strip clubs. So it's like, I don't know what that environment is like, but I'm not feeling that. And, every guy has their crazy moments. Every guy likes their crazy girl, but we know we can't be with them long term. So all y'all crazy girls who think that you really living life, who really think that you're getting to it, you're not. Because, you're fun, but we really know already that we can't be with you. The only way that we're going to be with you is if we really slip up and we have a baby by you. That's the only way. But me, yeah, my slip out game, my pull out game is different, okay? Super, super happy that, again, childless. I pray for times like this to shine like this. But yeah, I think life changed even more when I actually got my own home. So it was cool to have an apartment, but when you had a house, things really just changed around me. It's not like girls knew that I had a house when I met them. No, that doesn't come up in conversation. But I think overall, like, a woman would just be like, hey, I need to charge my phone. Let me go to your house. And what's crazy is I used to have a car that I could just charge your phone. But now that I got an older car after leaving the army, I literally had to drive them to my home. And when they would be in my house, they're like, ooh, look at this house. It's not the biggest home, but it's not small. You feel me? 3 bedroom, 1.5 bath, all to myself. Like, oh my goodness. Like, so when they come, it's like, oh shit. Like, he's doing all right. You feel me? And listen, they're not trying to leave. What did I tell you earlier? Like, girls will tell you that they want you before you have to ask. And so that's where I was in my life now. I'm at the level where girls are physically telling me that they want me, visually telling me that they want me, showing me that they want me, grabbing on me, pulling on me, ripping off my clothes, like wanting it bad. Like, that's where I'm at right now. How did I get there? Being straightforward. When I text a girl, all I say is, hey, or hey, beautiful. If you don't respond, that's on you. Now you miss out. If you do respond, okay, we can now have a conversation. I don't waste my time trying to figure out if you're going to respond or not. If I think you're cute, I'm going to say, hey, beautiful, and then we'll figure it out from there. If you respond, cool. If you don't respond, on to the next. And afterwards, it is what it is. So if we set up a date, which I was setting up a whole bunch of dates in Columbus before I had my girl, I would go on like 3-4 dates a week, and it was all for food and drinks because that's what I like to do. I'm not out here trying to exercise. I'm not I'm not out here trying to do all this other stuff. So it's food and drinks. And if I really liked you, we might do pins, we might do bowling, we might do something else. But that's if I actually already knew you. You feel me? Like we're not out here just to do things. Like I want to have a good time. I'm bringing you out. That's the timing I was on. So again, now we're at a point where my charisma is showing, my confidence is showing. I'm not spending time on women who don't already like me and aren't already attracted to me. They're showing me that they're attracted by responding, by replying back, by being on time, by wanting to do dates, by wanting to see me. I had friends with benefits. I had it all. And, that comes with now being physically attractive, being charismatic, having some hood smarts, knowing what they want, being financially stable, having everything that you want, and just being all around a top guy, like a top guy. And yeah, that's where I'm at in life now. Like, of course, the world is my oyster. It's never been like that before in the past. I won't lie to you and tell you that it's always been like that. It hasn't. I've grown into being a guy like this. It feels good. It is good. There's a lot of grown men who still don't feel like this, who still don't have these type of achievements, wants and dreams, their needs met. Me, I meet my needs every single day, and if one girl won't meet it, the next will. It's not hard for me. And so, again, if you found any insight into this video, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I post every single day at 8 a.m. daily on YouTube and on Rumble, and I can't wait to see you on the next one. Peace.